Anyway, to our panel. Now, tonight we're focusing on getting more direct online and offline essentials for your business. I'd like to get you to please welcome Jim Stewart from Stewart Media, Daniel from Shoestring Marketing, and Sean Wild, Sales Associate of Google. So a round of applause, guys. Thank you for coming along. Daniel, I'll start with you. Tell us a bit about Shoestring Marketing, your background.
Sure. Shoestring Marketing is a company I set up about 4 years ago. We specialise in teaching businesses how to market on a low-cost budget. So we fundamentally teach businesses what are the most simple, practical ways to grow your business without having to spend any money on advertising. So we look at what do you have, what resources do you have immediately that you can leverage. So it's all about the simplest things you can do without spending a cent and that can yield an immediate profit. So we do workshops, we do one-on-one consulting, and we just put up our new website where we've transcribed our 6 most popular workshops into written formats. So you can go online and access all our workshops now for only $99 for 3 months. So it's taken us 10 months to create, so
go there.
You got to go appreciate it. Blood, sweat and tears. Enjoy it.
Fantastic. Sean, tell us a bit about your role at Google.
We've been at Google for about 6 months now. So Google, some people sort of know Google's in Australia, a lot of people don't know they're in Australia. So we have a large office in Sydney that does a lot of development work for Google Maps, which is fantastic, I think, and it's sort of building out as a real hub for Southeast Asia to build a lot of development stuff and drive it from there. My role in Melbourne, it's very much sort of involved with sales and also educating customers. So work with a lot of the big advertisers in Melbourne and also in South Australia. Companies sort of like your Holdens and your Coles Myers and your Fords. They're big traditional companies that have very large budgets, but they're sort of spending them on traditional media like TV and print and that kind of thing, but helping them understand and sort of join the dots essentially between what they're doing offline and the market opportunity online and reaching the people as they spend time online.
Fantastic. Jim, tell us about your background.
Thanks. Stewart Media has been going since about 98. I started off in the internet industry as an internet consultant in 1994, and from about 98 through to 2001, we were doing a lot of streaming media. We did about 300,000 streams a month, which was the biggest in the streaming company in Australia. Around the same time, Google launched, and we started to optimise some of our own sites to rank high in the search engines, because prior to Google coming along, it was pretty easy, and most of the search engines were pretty crap, frankly. Google came along and changed all that. We started optimising our own sites, and then about 3 years ago we started doing it for other companies, and that's now the major area of our business. We still do streaming, but some of our clients are Austrade, LinkMe, which is a census company, and I'm sure Sean will appreciate the irony of that. Basically we get companies on the front page of Google. We do AdWords, which is the paid area of Google, but we also do natural search as well. I got testimonials the other week from someone, and she said, our business actually doubled when we got on the front page of Google for natural search, and we had to double our staff, and I was blown away by that.
That's a pretty good testimonial. Who wants to get on the front page of Google, by the way? So Sean, how much do we have to pay you? Okay, cool. All right, now there are 3 key areas that we're going to really focus on tonight. That's the online SEO area, the Google AdWords, and the direct mail and marketing. And at the end of it, we're going to look at how to actually create your marketing mix to optimise sales coming into your business. So Jim, we'll start with you. Tell us a bit about SEO. How do we get to the front page of Google?
There's a lot of ways. If you go and research this stuff on the internet, there's what we call black hat techniques and white hat techniques. They're basically the good and the bad. We only do the white hat stuff. There's ways that you can trick Google, but the Google keeps changing its algorithm, and if it finds that you're tricking it, then it'll boot you out of the index and you'll get nothing. But the way that search engine optimization works, you've got to think about it from Google's perspective. They're trying to find the most relevant results for a user's search. So you've got to be relevant to a user's search. People are often amazed when they don't rank for a particular key phrase, and yet it doesn't appear anywhere in their website. So you've got to understand that Google has to look at certain things to work out whether you're important or not. And one of the biggest things that any business can do is get involved online, because that will help you get ranked high in Google, because other people will start finding your site and start linking to you. And getting one of the major changes that happened with Google is that it started to take into account what did the rest of the internet think of your website. And it started to put that calculation in as part of the ranking algorithm. And that changed things completely. So one of the biggest things that you can do is get involved with forums when you get a chance. Who here has a blog or contributes to a forum? That's exceptional. Most groups I speak to, no hands. And I'm talking public relations institutes and all sorts of things. No one gets involved. Get involved online.
Telstra's got a blog as well, don't they? Or did that get canned?
I think I got canned because, they were too honest. Yeah.
So, do we have some questions about SEO strategies? I'll ask one. When going to an SEO expert, what do we need to look for, and how do we work through the clutter? Because everyone says we're going to get on the front page.
What I tell everybody, if someone says that they're doing SEO, find out who one of their clients are.
Yep.
And go and have a look at their site. See if you can pick what the major key phrase is for that site just by looking at it. If they're selling blue widgets, presumably it's blue widgets. Then go and Google it. And if that site doesn't appear in the first 10 results, or at least the first 20, then really the company can't do what they say.
Yep.
But that's how I would choose an SEO company. Most web developers. Any web developers here? One. Okay. Most web developers are great. There's some. There's some
not here,
that
course.
say that they do SEO, but they don't understand the business imperative.
Okay.
Getting your keywords right is the most important thing.
So, how much time do we need to spend on getting our keywords right? And I'm sure you'll clarify this in a minute.
It applies for AdWords as well as natural search. You've got to speak to your customers. You've got to speak to what would they type into Google. What are the sorts of... Have a look at some of the blogs out there and see how people are using certain phrases, because you'll be amazed. We had one client, they wanted to rank... they did rank number 2 for buy Microsoft Office, and they sold Microsoft Office. But what we found was about 10 times as many people were typing in cheap Microsoft Office software, and they hadn't targeted that phrase. So that is going to give them a much better return on investment.
How do you find that out, though?
There's a number of ways. There's a number of tools out there. Google won't tell you anything.
Yep. He's going to tell us something in a minute.
No, you won't tell you. Diddly sky. But the ways, there's a number of tools out there. There's some free tools out there that you can go and have a look at. The free tools don't work as well as the paid tools.
Okay.
The main one that I use is wordtracker.com. That's a subscription service.
Yep.
And it takes data from 2 other search engines, Metacrawler and Dogpile, and then it extrapolates that data across.
Okay. Who the hell came up with these names?
Nerds. We're all of us nerds in the industry. Yeah. Same guys that came up with Google.
Yeah, question.
Can I ask you where
Yes.
you rank on Google
For what phrase?
for SEO?
I don't rank anywhere in Google for just the phrase SEO. It's not worth my time and effort. SEO Melbourne, regularly number 1, number 2. Online Marketing Melbourne, regularly... Yeah. Oh, SEO Melbourne, number 1 and number 2. Appear on the first page of Google, number 1, worldwide.
Isn't that a good way of testing?
Of course, yeah. But, I mean, yeah...
It's a very tough word, I think, SEO, anything SEO related, because of people competing,
But quite frankly, it's a crap one to rank for, though, because we get bugger all business from that phrase. I did it because of bragging rights for people like you. No, but people ask. It's a legitimate question. But it's jargon. To give you an idea, I had a guy who wanted to rank, he's got a hotel in Spencer Street, wanted to rank number 1 for budget accommodation Melbourne, right? I said, fine, I'll take your money and get you number 1, but no one's typing that in. They're typing in cheap hotels Melbourne. And so SEO-related phrases we do rank for only because we kind of have to, but it doesn't generate that much business. The ones that generate more business are things like Online Marketing Melbourne, or appear on the first page of Google, or variants.
So what are, say, 3 key strategies that you actually employ with your customers to get them ranking?
Well, the first thing is site structure.
Okay.
Some sites Google can't even read.
What do you mean by site structure?
How it's-
HTML, Flash?
Well, Flash is generally bad.
Okay, do you want to explain what Flash is?
Flash is a site built entirely as an animation, and a lot of advertising industry sites are built like this, graphic design sites, some web developer sites. The reason it's not great is that there's no text within a Flash site, no actual text, it's all pictures. Google doesn't index a picture, it indexes text. So you need, well, not yet. So yeah, that's true. So you need text, right? Having said that, if you go and type communications agency into Google, the number one result's one of our clients, and the site's built entirely in Flash. So the site structure is also about, can the Google bot actually crawl through your site and find all your content? Because Google sends out these little robots, these little software robots that come and look at your site. If it can't find all your content, then you're not going to get indexed for that content. The way that you can find out whether how much Google knows about your site is just type in site, and then your web address into Google, and it will tell you how many pages it has of your site in its index. If you've got a 100-page site and it only knows about 10, you've got a problem. We have one client where Google couldn't get past the front page of the site because her web developer had created a content management system that Google couldn't read and get into. We rebuilt her site, and within 3 days she was on the front page. So that's when I talk about site structure.
Yep.
Keyword analysis, keyword density, the way the keywords are on the site. If you go and type the words "click here" into Google, number one result is Adobe Acrobat. The words "click here" don't appear on that page at all. The reason it ranks number one in Google for the words "click here" is because hundreds of thousands of other pages out there are linking the words "click here" to download Adobe Acrobat.
Okay.
Up until February this year, Google also ruined a lot of fun for most of us because they stopped the Google bomb. And the Google bomb was fantastic. It was, if you had to type the words miserable failure or failure into Google, the number one results was George W. Bush's biography. Now, strangely enough, the word failure didn't appear in his biography. But thousands of other bloggers had linked the words miserable failure to his biography.
Okay.
So the other strategy that we have is making sure that we're getting your site linked from other sites that are relevant to you. And there's a number of ways you can do that. But you've got to be careful as well when you're doing that. You're just not getting out there and spamming. You've got to keep in mind Google's trying to provide the most relevant results to users. So when I say get involved online, it gives you an opportunity to put a link back to your site.
So also things like duplicated content now?
Yeah, duplicate penalties, all those sorts of things. Some mistakes some businesses make is they'll have 10 web addresses and they'll just point them all at the same content. Well, Google sees that as 10 different websites with the same content. And they're only going to rank one of them, if at all. So, we see a lot of clients like that where you have to do, if I can be a bit nerdy for a second, you have to do, if anyone wants to write this down, you've got to do a permanent 301 redirect on all those other domain names and point them to your main one. So Google knows that there is only one website with this content.
I think everyone just glazed over.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Sorry.
Talk to your SEO person or your website.
Say permanent 301 redirect. Okay, that's all you have to remember.
Now, let's talk about AdWords. We're going to tie this together. Tell us, when doing Google AdWords, how much can we expect to pay per keyword? How long's a piece of string?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, in terms of paying for keywords, with the Google model, it's an auction model. So you pay as much as people are willing to pay. So, for example, credit cards, there's a lot of competition. You have all the major banks, and they make a lot of money at it. So if you wanted to list number one for credit cards tomorrow, you could, but it might cost you $20 or $30 per click, but obviously, people are paying that and they're getting value out of it. So, whereas other keywords you can pay as little as 5 or 10 cents for a click.
Who in the room's using Google AdWords? Who's looking at using Google AdWords? So a few of you as well. So when starting out with Google AdWords, what are some of the key things that we need to first begin with to build the foundation?
I think the key things, it's to sort of look at what do you do offline, what are your strengths, what's going to make you money, and sort of replicate that online. So from a business perspective, what are your advantages over your competitors? So when you put an ad on Google, you really want to highlight, because you're directly up against the competitors, what do you do that's different to your competitors, and what are the reasons why somebody would click to your site and purchase your product or your service. Also looking, as Stuart spoke about, what are you targeting? There's no point in driving traffic to your website if it's irrelevant to what you actually sell or what you do. So driving traffic, that's going to actually convert to new customers for you as well.
How important is an opt-in strategy?
In what sense?
In terms of actually collecting email addresses so you can further promote to them down the track?
Very important, obviously. I think with AdWords, you're paying for to get each person to your site. What happens to that person after that doesn't affect how much you pay. So if that person then leaves your site, you've still paid for them. If that person if you've got quality content on your site, so it's another big one, same as SEO, to have quality landing pages. So somebody looks at your ad and says, that's what I want, goes to your site, sees quality information, and then to get them as a client. So whether it's directly selling something, getting them to sign up for a newsletter, or fill in a form for you to contact them in person, that kind of thing. So definitely, once you get the traffic to your website, you paid for that traffic, actually doing something with it.
So there needs to be some kind of sales process, sales funnel?
Yeah.
Now, working with the top 100 companies, what is the difference between a small business owner advertising on AdWords to a top 100 company? Other than the spend, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think the level of sophistication. So, I mean, we have, and I think it's not so much as saying there it's a small client, you have large clients. You have clients, small clients with very large campaigns that spend a lot of money. You have very large clients with small campaigns not spending much as well. But in terms of actually being successful, I think it's concentrating from a small business, concentrating on what you do well and what works for you. Bigger clients have obviously a lot of staff that can build out campaigns. That we have clients that have 5 or 6 million keywords that they target.
Wow.
Whereas obviously from a small business perspective, you don't want 1 million keywords in your account. You want sort of whether it's 100 keywords or 200 keywords, the keywords that are actually going to be effective for you. So I think rather than trying to spread yourself too thin, very much targeting on what works and spend your money there, then a lot of other stuff that doesn't work.
And should these keywords reflect the SEO keywords?
I mean, yeah, it's an interesting one, the mix of SEO and SEM essentially. And a lot of people, I think it's sort of a common thing that people think you do one or the other. That you either, if you rank highly in SEO, you don't need to do paid search, and if you do paid search, you don't need to do SEO, which is a big mistake. Definitely, I think while they function quite similarly, they're also very different in what they do and how you go about doing them. So definitely,
I mean, you can target a lot more keywords. Like you can't do 5 million keywords via SEO.
Yep.
So that's where AdWords really is powerful.
Yep. So with the AdWords system, do we need to say put down $500 or $2,000 in an AdWord campaign, try and get as many clicks as we possibly can really quickly, or do we space it out over a certain amount of